Happy Friday, everybody. We all can't be winners. We all can't be like Hassan over here. He's lost his mind, man. Like, he's wearing a suit and tie now. Like, I haven't been like watching his videos or like responses of his videos. I've been actually missing the various many more Pegasus videos. And like, just trying to like, do my own thing, right? Like dealing with like the more important aspects of the world politics and shit, right? Like I thought I'd leave this YouTube internet drama behind, but apparently it just like pulls me back because, apparently more Pegasus, like he didn't make it official or legit, but he spent like, I would say a good 20-30 minutes going over like the law cases and like clauses as to how you can like sue someone in Singapore. And even if he's being facetious for the sake of joking and shit, like you can tell the guy has been like fucked over hard, man. Like ever since Shuan had made that video on him, he has not been the same since. Like his demeanor has changed. He's trying to appear more serious, wearing a suit and tie. It's just like it's so fucking hilarious because the suit and the tie, like, and this guy has money, right? Like the suit and tie isn't fitted. Like what the fuck, man? And if it is, like, yo, man, that is like those are like anti goals to have. Like if I'm gonna work out, I don't want to work out and look like that. You know what I mean? It's just like he looks like a little kid wearing a suit and shit. It's weird. And not only that, right? Like he realizes that like no one's ever gonna take him seriously, and all he could do is go back to like blaming people. And then he looks at more Pegasus, like, oh my god, he made so many videos about me. I should sue him. And then he's like making this facetious, like obviously bogus claim that he feels unsafe going to Singapore. Dude, nobody wants you in Singapore. Nobody actually wants you anywhere. Like once people find out that you're banned from the UK, United Kingdom, aka United Cucks, right? Fucking cucked out country like the United Kingdom. Like, of all the things that they would ban, like, I don't even think they banned Andrew Tate from United Kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still allowed to go there. Fuck. Hmm. But also, like, the shit that you say and, like, how fucking dumb you are, and, it's almost like as if, and I don't think it's like a direct response to it because I just saw the video today. But I think that like the writing's on the wall. Like everyone's starting to realize that the age of illusion has dissipated. The veil has been pierced. Now all we can do is look at the facts. Now a year ago, I think it was actually a year ago. Yeah, 2025, right? There was a hard push from many politicians to do an inquiry into the grooming gang. And Elon Musk was jumping on. Everybody was just like, gung ho. We're gonna find out about these individuals. We're gonna get justice for these, people. And a year after the fact, after that day, I think that was like in January. Like there was no justice. There was absolutely no follow up. Like there was a couple interviews, a couple stories, but no. So it took a man, Rupert Lowe, the man of the people, who literally walks into the House of Commons. I think it's called Parliament actually, and he with a signed petition of like something like a couple 100,000, if not like close to 1 million people signing this petition, right? Read a bunch of testimonies, and this shit is so scathing. This shit is so bad. This is so bad. Like, okay, I was posting some really bad shit on my Twitter account when I still had it back in 2019. I think I lost it 2020, 2021 or something like that, right? You could only imagine if I think this shit that he was saying is bad, like you have to watch it to see it. Like I like don't have a very popular YouTube channel. I don't have like a team behind me, an editor. and possible legal defense, right? So most likely it's something that you're going to have to go out of your way to look at, because if I were to repeat some of the things that were said in that testimony, in that whatever description, to witness statements, whatever, I would probably get banned off of YouTube just for saying it. It's funny how we joke about like people who like repost or retweet somebody what somebody else said and they get banned, but the person who said that doesn't get banned. I feel it's like the same way for me in this instance, because it's just like it's so volatile that it's like it's gonna incite a fucking riot, dude. It's gonna incite a white Caucasian on, South Asian, specifically Pakistani, Punjabi riot, and rightfully so, because these people have been treating their women like absolute fucking garbage, and they're even saying that. Okay, look, people are going out of their way to riot, to like put themselves in harm's way, right? Like I saw this one guy, he was getting dogpiled by a bunch of riot police in the UK when they were doing like the protests for Henry Nowak. He was getting his head smashed into the ground, and like before that like happens to anybody else, I will say this much: you must trust the numbers. You have to trust the numbers. Like everybody's gonna lie to you, dude. Everybody, you know. I might not know all the facts. I might be wrong. Somebody wants to like appear truthful to you, but lies to you, for personal gain. Other people lie to you for out of sheer hatred or contempt, right? You gotta trust the numbers, dude. Or dudettes, and some females, the odd females listening to my channel. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, right? It's a numbers game right now. You can't go out on your own by yourself, especially if you're Caucasian, but also if you hold political like opinions and shit. So like let's say, and happy Pride Month, by the way. Let's say you're homosexual, right? Or transsexual. There was this famous transsexual like Pakistani guy, and he was you know trying to express his gender. Sorry, his gender. I'm not gonna fuck around with that shit. But like, man went to Pakistan, right? And like, pretending to be a girl, acting like a girl, all that shit, right? Oh, yeah, I can get banned for saying this shit, whatever, right? But like, they killed him, and I bring that up because you realize like just how easy it is for other people to adhere to this like draconian way of living, but when that kind of criteria is extended to like other places around the world, like they're very much 10 toes down, as Hassan would say, right? Into their beliefs, into their convictions and shit. But I think that like people need to understand the reason why, right? And I know I made a recent video that like outlined that reasoning, but like we're never gonna understand the actual um reason that Henry died unless we actually got the video or had like an ability to get the truth out of like if you offered up some kind of like faux deal hoax and you said, look, we're gonna set you free, Vikram, if you tell us like why you killed Henry. It's like, all right, and then he just tells you the truth and shit. Like, no, you're not ever gonna get the truth out of it. Like, we're never gonna know like why he actually died. That can always be like, honestly, I'm just making assumptions even now, right? But if I could make an assessment into the situation, it's the same reason why these white girls are being abused, right? Like they said they're being locked up in dog cages. Dogs are being used to abuse them, bottles and like other sharp objects. They're just the mental and physical abuse that they have to endure is a psychological like realization that maybe some of that information, right, that Edward Snowden leaked about Iraq, the Iraq War, Guantanamo Bay, because you have to remember that Tony Blair very much participated in the Iraq War, right? So you also had like the war on terror, ISIS like all across the world, people getting like picked up by Interpol and all that shit, being taken back to Guantanamo Bay where they're being tortured to like the nth degree, and then like with Britain's help of like the armed forces, the Americans or whatever in Iraq, like there's this like bone to pick with like the British people, right? So like that's honestly what I would say, but I think it's like deeper. It's about the whole Christian versus Islam thing and the justification as to why the Crusades needed to happen, and like we're all honestly all seeing it play out right before our very eyes, right? Because we can hold ourselves to the aspect of denial all we want, but in the end, it was done for a particularly very good reason. And this reason is the same reason that's being echoed right now. Right? Like, it's funny how I commented that this was the reason why the Crusades needed to happen and the reason why they happened. And then when you hear this testimony from Rupert Lowe in Parliament, it's like I didn't want to be right about that like that, right? But I am, and it gets worse. It gets way worse. So apparently there is a market, right? What do I mean by that? Well, there's a sex market. There's a sex well beyond the whole trafficking of these women and stuff. There's like a market for like their abuse and stuff. Like there's people filming it. There's people uploading this stuff to the internet, and we know from Jaskar and Judge and shit that like these videos get sent around, they get circulated and shit, and they have protection from their families, they have protection from the cops. Apparently, there's this one girl who's going around saying that like she was getting trafficked and raped by all these different kinds of cops and shit, which is honest to God, it's one of these coincidences that just keeps finding like repeating patterns and iterations. Like we had yet and again another Toronto City Police cop abusing a 14 to 16-year-old girl. Like she was 14 when he started abusing her, so it was over the course of like 2 years, and she's like 16 now. I think he's like 26 or 36 or something like that. Cop for like 3 years and shit. And it makes you think to yourself, like, yo, if they have the time to come out and harass me and shit, like, how many women are getting raped by these fucking rats, these fucking animals? And the answer is simple. A lot. Like, all around the world, from Canada to the United Kingdom to, like, democratic runs, like, states in America to, like, even Australia now, I'm hearing. Like, there is this concerted effort to basically victimize or put women in a vulnerable position to allow abusers to basically do the unthinkable to them. Like, if you really take a step back, right? Like in the old world, like as racist as people would have, attributed it to, right? Like you have to look at like the whole China thing, right? China has this like special thing where it warns its citizens, like if you take a tourist vacation here, you might get sexually assaulted, you might like get poisoned or like robbed or scammed or whatever, right? And like people will say like, well, that's really racist to say, but like I'd rather have a government that like looked out for me and my citizens than to like care about like this whole racism aspect, right? Because you never know, you might fucking die abroad and shit. And they said, no, go there, it's 100% safe and shit, right? Oh my goodness. So, if there's a market for underage women to be like sexually exploited and like people to like watch it unfold and shit, there's like a market for that. Chances are we are at war with an enemy that is like basically the excuse. And what I mean by that is I think that sometimes we have demons or like figures of our imagination that are created to basically explain away the evil of these types of people, because these types of people exist, and you could argue with like the aforementioned the titular demon, the evil presence, the witch, the warlock, the evil wizard, right? Like all these like archetypes have like a very simplified goal, world domination, doing some shit like that, casting some magical spell. I don't know, right? Getting some magical rock and shit. With these people, it's just pain and suffering. They want the pain and suffering of children, of all things, of other people's children. And not only that, the cover up. The cover up, the cover up, the cover up, right? We're talking about wives, daughters, sons, uncles, nephews, nieces, aunts, grandparents, right? Like, the list goes on. All these people know of what's happening. Even Asmund Gold is saying, like, yeah, these people know. Like, the whole family knows. And, like, deporting all of them is necessary, right? It's one of those times where previously what was thought of as extreme measures is now being seen as a necessity. A necessity. Right? That's all, folks. You gotta wrap that shit up. The days are over. Like, this is the permanent shift in people's thoughts and beliefs. You can't go back to the way things were. That's probably why they didn't want these things to come out, huh? That was like, it's not just like ripping off a band-aid, it's like ripping out stitchings, they can stitch themselves in like fucking ticks and mites and shit, like fucking sticking their teeth in and just like sucking in, right? Like these like fucking scammers up in like America and shit, steal up all that millions of dollars. Minnesota, California, these are the ones that we hear about. There's probably a bunch more, right? And now we're hearing about like all around the world, all around the world. I hear about like these people up in Japan, these Sri Lankans up in Japan, causing shit for the Japanese people. Cause it's just like they're stealing up copper and shit, beating up like old people, and robbing them and shit. These are only two stories apparently, but like there could be more. Like there's a thing where this idea that we're all the same is just slowly coming to an end. So beautifully and almost poetically that I gotta like just take a step back and just appreciate the fact that like being an individual at first I thought was gonna be the end of me. Like I'm standing out like a fucking sore thumb. Like everybody knows who I am, everybody can see me. I'm wearing lipstick and nail polish. Oh my god, I'm gonna have like long hair and shit. I'm actually gonna start dyeing my hair because like fuck everybody. I want to dye it like something fucking obnoxious too. Like I want to dye it just like 50% of my hair. Like after this girl I like obsess over on Instagram, and like all that like something like cool like dark emerald green or some shit like that. Cause like man, just getting ripped alone, getting like chiseled, and like lifting more is only like just like half of it. Sometimes you gotta like be eccentric with it, be like your own individual, like standing out and shit. Because it's like the whole consolidation is like their tactic, the blade of grass, like the shroud of many. You cannot achieve justice if you cannot pick out an individual in a crowd, and they just disappear like smoke and mirrors. Not anymore though. It's just like you just like assume like the worst, and you're most likely to like honestly tell if I pretty much like true the whole time. Yeah, and they're just like, no, that's not how that works. You're racist. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't think anybody should care. Like, I think that word's been used against you and me and pretty much everybody else for the better part of about a decade now. Like at first, it was pretty like oh my god, can't be racist. Then after a while, it became like, oh, not this shit again. Like he's just gonna keep saying this, or she's gonna keep saying this because it's like they know. they're wrong and or I'm right or whatever, right? And they just don't want to be proven or misproven, right? And now it's just like an expectation that that someone's gonna say that. Like sometimes I can even say that. Like I can say that about Muslims. Muslims are very racist. Not all of them, but like a lot of them, they are very racist. They come into other countries and they're like, "Yo, fuck you guys, convert to Islam." That's kind of fucking racist, dude. You can say that's part of my religion all you want, but like, yo, the fuck you talking about? Like other people have other obligations, other like traditions, other like affinities. Same thing with the Sikhs and shit, right? Talking about like, yo, we can't ban our Kirpan and shit. It's like, nah, man, you gotta ban that shit out of there. Get rid of it. Because at first I was on the fence about it, and then I realized something. Like, I have to start thinking about the interests of white people, because eventually I have to start thinking about the interests of my children and shit, right? And when it comes down to it, and I hate to say this, I can't really trust my kids around like a lot of different ethnicities. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, there's going to be this one perfect, absolutely flawless group of people that like I can, raise my kids around, but like I'll take my chances. I will. And it'll piss off a lot of people to hear me say that, but my kids are basically not safe with like almost pretty much every other group around on the face of this planet, right? Right? Because it's like, if anything, and I hate to admit this, but the whole white guilt thing would probably serve as a benefit if my kid was like either mixed race or just like non-white, at least for like a temporary measure. And like there is no real equalizer when you think about it on other ethnicities. Like you don't have other ethnicities saying, "Well, take it easy on these guys because they have this background and this and that." Like they just it is very much an empathy thing that like I don't know, it's Eurocentric, American centric, whatever you want to call it, Canadian, whatever. Or like the idea that like everyone's hearing how bad this shit is and like they have to live their lives in the shadow of it. At first, I would feel sorry for them because it's like it doesn't involve them and stuff. But then I realized that like it would involve a change and a shift that is a requirement. And if you shy away from it, either you're with us or you're against us type shit. And like being, not involved and neutral and shit, from my perspective, I see it as like, um, I guess it has to be solved, but it can also be like a lesson learned, I guess, from all of us that mercy is also like another form of weakness. It is. Mercy, hesitation, it's weakness. You don't think about it until you think about it. Like, for me, I would build like a similarity between like let's say a consistency with working out and like hesitation, right? So I don't know, for whatever fucking reason, I know that I have to do another set. I know that I have to like get my nutrition in or this or that, and I'm just I don't know walking around wasting my time or just like head in the clouds thinking about shit. And it's this weird understanding that like I did it to myself, right? And I try not to do that as much, even though like I'm always bound to do that. Like it's just like a part of like my persona at this point. But to mentally acknowledge that like time is now more precious than ever, and it's not because I didn't see something that wasn't there or I was not appreciating it or it's some corny ass shit. No, it's just the dire nature of the situation where if I hesitate, in this period of time versus any other period of time, it would be more consequential. Like it would be more catastrophic, if you will. Like I don't mean to actually be dressing it up that. Actually, you know what? I would because it's like I hate to say this. Um, Even though I don't want to pretend that like it's my problem, it is my problem. It's been my problem for so long, and it's going to be my problem tomorrow and the next day and month, year, for the rest of our lives. We're in this together, unfortunately. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. You know, take care and stay consistent, okay?